Even though burnout persists, it can be something that you can overcome. But there are ways to overcome that is not natural, but more so intentional. And so, with that intent, you have to take a look at what you are overextending yourself in. That could be people, place, time, tasks, because we can have too much overexposure. And that's one aspect that hinders our emotional bandwidth. That's number one. Number two, taking a look at your routine, your regimen, your schedule to see if it is overcapacitated, which is incapacitating you, right? And we know that burnout starts with the concept of this emotional exhaustion, something that sleep can't renew. You can get 8 hours peaceful sleep, wake up, and still not be yourself and still not feel well rested. So the element here is the emotional exhaustion. Being able to take a look and see where is this exhaustion coming from, and then creating a plan of action that would help you to mitigate those things one by one, which then can help you to be within your capacity. Now, capacity is not normal, as you are aware, because as we grow in our um, career, it's kind of like a campaign. Sometimes we can go harder, sometimes we need to step back, sometimes we can be visible, sometimes we can't be as visible, sometimes we can be vocal, sometimes we can't be as vocal. And then that's where the power of delegation, the power of understanding what your assignment is, and the power of controlling your schedule that does not allow your mood, mental, emotional space to be larger than it needs to be. So there's a lot of intent here in regards to the word capacity. Capacity doesn't mean that I'm going to stuff this bag as much as it can be stuffed. That's not what capacity is. Learning capacity is understanding what your limitations are and withdrawing anything that cannot hold your limitation. If it's too much, it's time to say no. If it's too much, it's time to say, well, not right now. Let's revisit this in 2, 3, 4 months. So these are how we intentionally manage ourselves, not alone, not to also mention emotional, pardon me, energy management. So there's a lot with that. And if those things are not touched, if those things are not being controlled, if you're not aware of those things and you just think that this is what it costs to be successful, then you're going to continue to rotate in burnout. Because burnout is the overextension of oneself without getting results back, or not getting results back um, mo- in regards to how much we think. Sometimes things don't work out. That's fine. Sometimes the what do I want to say? The project goes over. Sometimes there's some spillage in the project. The staff may leave, or there may be some hiccups. That's normal, right? And the ability to manage our mood and our emotions around that is very important. But what happens is we keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and we never receive a return. That's going to effectively hinder your morale. That's going to hit it first. Then it's going to hit your mindset, negative thinking. Then it's going to hit your sleep. Then it's going to hit other things. And then there comes anxiety. There comes sadness. There comes woe as me. And so we can't forget about the importance of our emotional sustainability around the concept of work. So your capacity, that's what you have to cultivate. You're going to have to learn to um, not expand your bag, because expanding your bag, all that's doing is going to tear it. It's going to rip it. I'm just going to stuff as much as I can. That's got to be a shift in your mindset. But what happens is, how do I lay my bag out, and how do I determine how much can fit in the bag without the bag being depleted? I need to still leave some room so the stuff inside of the bag can breathe. That's the concept. So then, if you look at that from a daily basis, that's how am I ruling my schedule? How am I getting up? What am I doing to restore myself? Am I giving myself time to recalibrate from the first session of the day to the next session? What am I doing here? Or am I just getting out of bed and I'm rushing and I'm in a panic all the time, going from here, there, and everywhere? What am I doing to manage me? That's the first thing. So the point is that burnout recovery takes high levels of awareness. And that's where your emotional intelligence have to come in. And if you're talking about making sure that you never touch this space again, these are the things that you want to take a look at and see what is overstuffing my bag. And if I can't change how much is in my bag, then I need to identify some options here. For me, the capacity of ripping and running on the road for 10 hours a week, I began to see that that was tearing my bag. And it started to personally affect me. And all of those symbol signs and symptoms that we've talked about previously, all of those are in the midst of that. So when I identified that I had no choice but to take an opportunity to evaluate what was going on, that then gave me the ability to lay it all out. And in laying it all out, identifying what was too much, what was not a problem, what was a medium, and therefore choosing to have a choice to choose something different. Now, for those that are employed, yes, there's a different view from that, but some of the same concepts still apply. You still have a choice of how you run your department. You still have a choice of how much open door you have. You still have a choice of when things are due, when things are not. You still have a choice to regulate your schedule and your staff schedule. You still have a choice in identifying how to think, act, and etc. So it is not outside of your control just because you work for somebody. You still have choices to choose to manage yourself and your department differently than the past. One major lesson that I came across in my reading is that it's okay to let the old things go. And you don't have to be the same person that you once were. And in order to not be the same person, then that means some things have to change. You have to determine what things have to change. Nobody else can. And if you're not aware of what needs to change, that is what we can continue to dig into so that recovery is the name of the game and not stewing in burnout.